Starting in the year 2000, for the first time, you could find a dime bag of heroin in the Twin Cities, and this really had never happened before. My counterparts in other cities, dime bags, it happened in Newark and New York City and Boston and LA and Seattle, certainly, other historic heroin towns in Chicago, but never in the Twin Cities. And gradually, over the past decade, heroin, along with the abuse of prescription opiates, have just kept climbing up on every indicator we look at. Now, that's happened in the Twin Cities as well as in other parts of the country, but clearly in the Twin Cities, we have a heroin issue now, the likes of which we have never seen before. It's absolutely unprecedented. I think in part it's due to the increase in opiate painkillers that's going on nationally. That's really the perfect storm of more of them being prescribed than ever before. But I think it's also a shift in supply, and some of the same criminal networks that produced cocaine and distributed it to this part of the country are now producing heroin and distributing it to this part of the country. How the two are related is that we know that a number of people may be introduced to addiction by using prescription opiates. Prescription opiates occupy the same brain receptors as heroin does. And some people, when they abuse prescription opiates, even change the route of administration. They smoke it or they melt the pills down and inject them to get more of a heroin-like high. And we know from talking with them and from some research studies that have been done in other cities that when they start with prescription opiates, if they can switch to a steady supply of heroin that's as good quality and as affordable or more affordable, that people will do that. And that's what we've seen here. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration has a domestic monitoring program where they purchase undercover samples of heroin and then test it for purity and figure out the price per pure milligram. And they have found that in the Twin Cities over the last 3 years, we have the highest purity Mexican heroin in the country at the lowest cost per pure milligram.